Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Radio Silent Play. I am your moderator for today on Sunday, February 22nd, 2015. Let me start off by saying I am not a financial advisor. Please do your own due diligence before trading any stock or options. Trading stocks and options inquire lots of risk. Okay, we're back after a 2-week hiatus. We're starting to do our Sunday meetings. Today we're going to go over a couple of things. We're trying to see if we get some stragglers coming on. We only got 4 people thus far, but I will be recording this and I will be posting this later in the week on YouTube. Okay, I just want to thank the people that showed. Okay, we're going to go over a couple of things. I'm going to talk briefly about some things regarding trading in general. Okay, it's not so much of setups or any strategy or technical analysis, but it's basically something which I call dip. The dip is something that I don't know if people have kind of seen in anything that they actually do, whether it's working out or it's anything that they're trying to or looking forward to achieving a goal. When you're working on something, you really get excited in the beginning and you really do well at it. Okay. Sometimes what happens is you hit stall or you stall and you get a stagnant kind of vibe, and it always basically happens, and it happens to the best of us, and sometimes when you hit those levels, okay, some people will tend to quit, or they'll have a couple of bad scenarios happen, and then they just want to give up. This is the time where you actually got to step back, and you actually got to go back to the drawing board and work a little bit harder, work on your strategy, work on your setups, and regardless on whether it's working out or trading in general. Trading is something that people kind of get emotionally involved. I try to teach traders not to get emotional, but whenever you're dealing with money and money that you're actually putting into an investment, and you actually kind of see bad results, it always leaves a bad taste in your mouth. But with that said, okay, you kind of visualize it and work towards correcting the mistakes that you've had. Okay, and some of the things that you want to do is you want to kind of look and see your organization skills, whether you're logging your setups, whether you're getting into the stocks at a prime moment, looking at different situations, awareness, probability trades, or looking at support levels, looking at patterns. So I know a lot of traders, especially now, what they're doing is they're following different groups. A couple of groups, they start hyping stocks, and you end up buying the stock way later into a rally. And I'm gonna speak about what I call the superior trades or the Bentley trades. These are trades that kind of like lower risk. Okay, I call them high probability trades. These are setups that I want traders to kind of get accustomed to doing. Sometimes they get a little boring, but waiting for pullbacks and opportunities to manage risk and lower your risk where you're getting into the stock. I think it's very important for traders to understand that. And this is something that people just have to take into consideration. You will have those dips, okay, in your trading intervals. Okay, you're not always going to trade and do well, okay, in the market. Sometimes trading in the market, it's about and losing at the same time, but winning a little bit more than what you lose. And when you lose, okay, lose less. Okay, I know that sounds a little bit confusing, but you want to kind of have a balancing act. And when you have this balancing act, what you're going to end up doing is you're going to use trading as a supplemental way of making, and you're going to kind of become robotic in the sense of picking and entering your trades picking and choosing what stocks you're buying, why you're buying them, and at what levels, and um, you know, executing the trade on the way up and profiting on the way up. If the stock goes the wrong way, we understand about stop. What we do is we wait for 2 day confirmations. And I'm going to go over this a couple of times. But I just want traders to understand that, when the trades don't go well, okay, that's part of trading. That's what I call the dip. You're going to have those stagnant moments. You're going to have those moments where you're going to hit a plateau. Okay, and that's why we're here. That's why we have good traders in the chat rooms. That's why we have the watch lists. That's why we have the emails. Okay, I always post on Facebook. I always post. Trade the levels, trade the setups, avoid the hype. There's a lot of traders nowadays. They just follow traders because they see them gloating about certain stocks that they trade, and then to a trade very, very late, and they're not actually looking at the setups. They're not looking at the trade levels. They're not looking at resistance support levels. They're not looking at 100 bands, calendar channels. They're not looking at volume level twos. And what they do is they just, right away go head first into a trade, and that's when they get into the hype, and then they get out with either a loss or or they just make just terrible trades. And I'm not here to pretty much, all the information that's given to you guys is basically for you to position yourself and make a decent trade. Okay, all this information is basically for information purposes only, but it gives you an ability to kind of decipher where you want to get into on the trade. And I think that most of you guys, for the most part, kind of get it. Okay, some of you guys, are a little bit impatient, but sometimes these stocks take a little time, and when you buy at these levels where the panic settles in, okay, and then dwindles out, okay, that's when the stock needs a little bit of time, and then it sets up the pattern, and then usually profits on the way up. And I'm going to go over a couple of stocks that we've seen that, all right? So I just wanted to talk a little bit of the dip just to get traders to understand, we'll hit those plateaus sometimes. We're not going to always be right on every trade, but when we are right, we are right. Okay, so I'm just going to go over a couple of things. Welcome to the new guys that are coming on. I appreciate you guys giving us the time. Okay, what I usually do is I'll go over some of the big boards. We'll go over a couple of little option setups. We're going to go over what the markets are doing, what we're actually looking at for this week. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about the market sentiment, whether it's gold, silver, the S&P 500, what we think that it's going to do. Some of the geopolitical happenings in the world, and then what we'll fall into is the small caps, some small caps that we're looking at levels, and then we'll go into OTC weekly watches and go over certain stocks that we're actually playing. Okay, so I just want to welcome everybody. Welcome some of the new guys that are showing up, and we're gonna take questions a little later on after we finish. So just so it can go on a little bit smoother, and let's get started. Okay, what I'm looking at on for some that's really important for this week is gold. Gold right now has broken significant support, especially the GLD. Okay, but what I'm looking at for now is the GDX. Okay, the GDX is pretty much all the main mining companies, and it's pretty much the market vector for the gold miners. Okay, what I'm looking at here is the 1950 support. So traders that are looking at gold, okay, I usually like trading the GDX mainly because it's basically like an SP 500, but for the miners. Okay, so what we're looking at here is a 1950 level to 1980. Okay, if it hits that 1950 to 1980, probability wise, I think it'll be a good opportunity for a short-term bounce. And I say short-term bounce because I feel that we'll probably see a bounce, but then if the stock or this market breaks below that 1975 level on 2 consecutive closes, we could see this retest of this 17 level. Okay, so I want traders to understand that this 1975 is very, very much a key level support. I put 1950 there is because sometimes what the market ends up doing intraday, it ends up kissing that level. Okay, so I put 1950 there because that's the main support line that I kind of established here from this pivot low to this range here. So I'm basically giving it about 20 cents below this calendar channel here. Okay, understand superior trades, what I call the Bentley trades. These lines right here, these green lines, okay, these are called Bollinger Bands. Okay, the Bollinger Bands are are pretty much these green lines, and then you have the pink lines, which are the Keltner channels. Usually, a pulse triggers when these Bollinger Bands come in between these Keltner channels. Okay, that's a good sense of understanding when a stock pretty much gets into breakout mode. And let's take this for instance. Take a look here in December. Okay, once these Bollinger Bands got in between these Kellner channels, we had a nice rally on the GDX. Okay, so whenever you see these these Kellner channels, okay, see these pink lines, the Bollinger Bands come in between these Kellner channels, you usually see a rally, and then you'll have a pulse trigger out. Okay, so what we're looking for now is for this Kellner channel here to get in between, or these Bollinger Bands, I'm sorry, Bollinger Bands to get in between these levels. And if this, okay, plays out, I think when it hits this 1950 range, I think we'll see a short-term bounce on the GDX. Okay, looking at the GLD, it's on the option setups for this week. Okay, it's a little different for the GLD. Just go over here. Okay, for the GLD, it's a little different. Okay, we just closed below this support line here at the 116 level. This was key support here on the GLD. Since we've broken down below this, okay, one, two, twice, now this is a resistance. So any pullback, okay, up to this level, 116.80, it's going to be a good opportunity for a put, okay? So it's a little different. The GDX is a little stronger than what the GLD is doing, okay? So I want traders to understand that, okay? Right now, if you look at it, it's the same thing, but the opposite, okay? Now you're seeing that these Bollinger Bands, okay, are getting out, okay, or getting outside these Kellner channels. When that happens, usually the markets go lower, okay? And that triggers what you call a short on a stock. Okay, so now the GLD, what we're looking at is a potential target to that 114 to that 112 level. Okay, so again, let me go over this again. So when the Bollinger Bands are inside the Kellner channels, okay, that usually triggers what you call a long position. Okay, it usually triggers the stock looking to go higher. When the Kellner channels, okay, are outside the Bollinger Bands, now what you're looking at is a potential short opportunity. Okay, so these Bollinger Bands right now are getting away from these Kellner channels, and they're not inside anymore. So what we're looking for is any pullback up to the 116.80 is going to give a good opportunity for this target 114. Now, if the GLD or something happens geopolitically around the world, if you start hearing QE talks or anything of that nature, now if you have a close above 118.15, then this is voided and then we stop out. Okay, so that's what happens with the market. Okay, so I want traders to understand that. Okay, sometimes these trigger. Okay, what we're doing is we're using these techniques or these strategies in order for us to position ourselves for a best potential trade, which I call the best probability trade. Okay, and that's usually what we're gonna do. Okay, so let's take for instance now, if this GLD hits 116 to 116.80, that's gonna trigger us, okay, to start scaling in, okay, into this option. Okay, what do I mean by scaling in? Scaling in is buying certain amount of contracts, okay, on the way up. Okay, so if GLD hits 116, 116.80, you want to grab a position. You're not going to go all head first. You may take 30% of intended investment. And then if it hits 117, 117.50, you may add more. Okay? And now your stop close is going to be a close above 118.15. If the market or GLD closes above 118.15 on 2 consecutive closes, that means we stop out and we take a short loss. Okay, that's how we trade. That's how we trade these setups. Okay, so I want to reiterate that. Okay, so we're seeing right now, okay, that the Bollinger Bands are coming outside the Kellner channel. What that means is, okay, we're looking for a short position on the GLD. Okay, now if the market hits 116 to 116.80, we're scaling into that trade. We're grabbing puts for a strike of 113 or 114 through April to June. If you want to go a little bit closer, you can, you may, but you want to make sure, okay, that you're not taking in a weekly scalps. Weekly scalps are very dangerous because they pretty much decay within a couple of days. Okay, so I want traders to understand that when I trade, we trade a little bit longer term with these options. Okay, now let's take a look at the USO. USO right now, okay, is trading right there at 20 and the 50-day moving average. Okay, and you're gonna see a little bit of a bullish flag here set up. And what we did was we took a position here on the USO at 1840 and it hit a high of 1910, which was a nice little scalp. Now what we're looking for is this consolidation here in this flag pattern. Okay, once this stock closes below this 20-day moving average, let's say it does it 2 times, that's a failed signal. What we're going to do is we're going to stop out. And then what we're going to do is we're going to look for USO to close below 1832 times. Then we're going to take the target to 17, target 2 to 1860. Okay. I don't have the Bollinger Bands here. I have just the Bollinger Bands. I'm going to put the Kellner channels here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Just bear with me. Okay, so what are we looking at here? Okay, the Kellner channels. Okay, right now, right here, the Bollinger Band is inside this Kellner channel. Okay, what we're looking for is for both these Bollinger Bands to come in between these Kellner channels, and then what we're going to look for is a long position. But if you look here, okay, if you look right here, you saw this Bollinger come inside this Kellner channel, and then we had a little bit of a rally up. Okay, does it always happen like that? No, it doesn't. But this is just one strategy or one signal that I use whenever I go into the market. Okay, this is another signal right now. It's a flag pattern. Okay, you got 2 bullish closes here. Okay, for a line straight up, and now you have a bullish inside flag pattern here. Okay, so now what we're looking for is either a close above 1930 on 2 consecutive closes. That's going to take us to this 20 level, 2060 level. If not, if we close below $18, okay, $18.50 on 2 consecutive closes, then what we're going to do is we're going to take the short to the target of 17 and a target of 2 of 1640. That's how we trade. And why do we do this? Because we're looking at the probability trade. Okay, we're looking at the best assessment. We're not going on this just for a hunch. Okay, what we're looking at is okay, the Bollinger Band is coming in between this Kellner channel. B, we have a bull flag pattern here set up. Okay, are the big heads talking about oil coming down, coming lower? Anything can happen. A geopolitical happening around the world with the Ukraine and Russia, okay, or anything in the Middle East could cause oil to surge up, okay? Or if we start hearing about, Saudi Arabia talking about lowering cost or anything of that nature, or lower a demand by China, then it'll put pressure on oil and then it'll break down. But if it breaks below 1830 2 times, then that means we're taking on a short. Okay, so just remember that. That's what we're looking at here. We have either or. Okay, either or is 18 to 1830 calls. We're looking for a strike of 19 to 20, which we saw a nice scalp when we got in at 1840. We hit a high of 1910. Now what we're looking for is the USO to close below 1830 2 times. If it does, then we're taking a target of 17 and then a target of 1640. Okay, and if it doesn't go the right way and it closes above 1840 times, we get out with a small loss. I mean, that's how the markets pretty much trade. Now take a look at the Tesla right now. Okay, if you look at Tesla right now, we're looking into some resistance here. Okay, this pivot high in November. Okay, we're seeing lower highs. Okay, now what we're looking at is this 220 level as resistance. Right now we're trading at 217. Okay, so if this hits 220 level, okay, or 223, look for a short-term put, okay, for a shorting opportunity. Okay, but if this pulls back to that 209 level, 211, it's a good opportunity to look for a long position. Okay, so that's what you want to look at. Right now, what we're looking at this resistance here from this pivot high here in November, okay, to this pivot high here in February. Okay, you have what you're seeing here is a lower high. Okay, and if you look at here, the market is trading, okay, in a downward trend. Okay, so you have to take that into consideration. Now, if this market closes above 220 on 2 consecutive closes, now we're talking about a potential move up to 230, 240. Okay, because then it'll break and confirm that reversal here on this downtrend. Okay, so this is what I want traders to understand, and this is why we actually have these setups. Okay, we're not just getting into a trade just because we're seeing it on Option Millionaires or we're seeing it on CNBC. Okay, that's not why we take these trades. We're taking these trades based on these higher lows here. Okay, you got a little bit of a wedge. Okay, and now what we're looking at is this resistance here. If it breaks 220 on 2 consecutive closes, we're going to take that move to about 225 to 230 calls. Okay, now if it comes down to 209, 210 level, then we're going to take the calls as well. Okay, now if it breaks below this level here, okay, if it breaks below this level here at 203, okay, now we're taking these puts down to this 195 level. Okay, and that's called probability trading. Okay, right now what we're looking at too, what were we talking about? The Bollinger Bands right now are trading in between the Kellner channels. Okay, so for me, any pullback down to this 209 to 211 level is a buy or a long opportunity on the Tesla. Why is that? Bollinger Bands are trading in between the Kellner channels. Okay, you also have a merging 20 and 50-day. Okay, so those are 2 buy signals now. You got lower highs. Okay, lower highs over here. This is resistance. Okay, but then now over here, down here, you have higher lows. Okay, that's another signal. Okay, so now what you're looking at is a key break of either 220 or a pullback down from the 209 to 211 for calls. All right, for some consolidation before a rally. Okay, if you look at Apple, okay, let's take a look at Apple. Okay, if you see here back in January, you had the Bollinger Bands come right in between the Kellner channels, and you had a rally here from this 110 level up to 130. Okay, that triggered a pulse. Now what we're looking at is this pivot high here from November to now. Okay, you may have around the top here. Okay, if you look here at the volume, you have a little bit of a decreasing volume now. Okay, so this is something to consider now. Okay, now if Apple closes above 130 on 2 consecutive closes, then you may have a little bit more room. But I would start looking for a short opportunity now. Because why? Okay, where are these Kellner channels? Okay, these Kellner channels, okay, are now, these Bollinger Bands are coming out of the Kellner channels. Okay, what do we talk about? When the Kellner channels are outside the Bollinger Bands, we're looking for a short opportunity. Okay, so I like that 130, that kiss of that 130, 131 level. Okay, for short-term puts on the Apple. Okay, another one here. Okay, Bollinger Bands are going outside the Kellner channels. Okay, if you see this pivot high here, now it's getting into resistance. So watch that 111 level. 111 level for the Qs. Okay, so Go Green, what channels are you talking about, please? All right, so Go Green is asking us what channels are we talking about. Okay, so for those guys that came late, we're talking about superior trades. These are our trades that I call the Bentley trades. All right. If the Bollinger Bands, which are the green, okay, these green lines right here, these squiggly green lines, whenever these green lines, okay, these are the Bollinger Bands. Whenever they come in between these pink lines, these are Kellner channels, that triggers what I call a pulse for the long side. Okay, if you look right here, okay, right here, you started seeing these Kellner channels start converging or coming in between these pink lines. Whenever these lines come in between these pink lines, it triggers what I call a long. Okay, so whenever the Bollinger Bands, which are these green lines, come in between these pink lines, okay, it usually triggers what I call a pulse channel. Okay, that means that a pulse means like a heartbeat. A big move is setting up. Okay, so whenever the Bollinger Bands, and it works for different charts. I actually put my Bollinger Bands here. I put them green. Okay, and the pink lines go green are Kellner channels. Kellner channels. Okay, if you come over here on your overlays, you can actually put these things down. All right, you can put either the Kellner channels here, okay, and um and the Bollinger Bands here. All right, so this is what I use. I usually put my Kellner channels. This is something that I use as a strategy to either go long. Okay, so whenever the Bollinger Band's inside the Kellner channels, that'll be a buy signal on the long side. Whenever the Kellner channels are outside the Bollinger Bands, now you're looking for a short opportunity. So now if you look here, okay, what's happening here? This green line is coming outside this Kellner channel. So I'm looking for any move up to 110, 111 KISS for a short term or a short on the Qs. Okay, if you want to go short on the Qs, you can also buy what I call, which is the inverse, is the QID. Okay, and this is the QID right now. Okay, and if you look at the QID right now, RSI is at 29. Okay, so that's what I want you guys to kind of look at. And I will be posting this on the mobile apps if they trigger, when they trigger, so you guys kind of get a sense of that. If you look at the SPY actually broke out. It hit our target. We had a target of 211, and it did hit that 211 mark. But now what I'm looking for is this resistance here at that 212.57 level. Okay, if you look here, okay, the Kellner channels, now the Bollinger Bands are getting outside the Kellner channels here. So what we're looking for is any move up 212.60 to 214.80. I think it's going to be a good opportunity to buy those SDS calls or buy the puts. And our target, we could stay close range, okay, in the money, maybe about 210, and a target to about 209.30. Okay, the markets are bullish, but at the same time, they're getting into overbought conditions. Okay, so just keep an eye on those Bollinger Bands. This is a good way to kind of pinpoint where the markets are heading to, and I just want traders to understand: never chase a market. Okay, always await a pullback. Some of these guys, they think that these stocks, whenever they go euphoric, they want to buy more, and then they get caught. And then what happens? The market pulls back, and then people panic, and then people start buying the support, and then it rallies higher. Okay, sometimes these markets exhaust. Okay, and that's one of the reasons why we use these Bollinger Bands and Kellner channels. Okay, so usually when the pullback happens, where do you want to look for the pullback? Okay, I usually look at these moving averages here. Okay, if you see the 50-day moving average right now is 204.49 on the SPY. Okay, the 20-day moving average, actually like the 20-day moving average for the big boards. We're looking at 205.60. Okay, so that 205.60 to 206.80, that's my buy range for the long side if the markets pull back. Okay. Right now the markets are sitting at 211, 212. Okay. So I'll take my risk buying some short-term opportunities up there. Okay. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over a couple of option setups now that we have. Um, went over it a little bit. Again, like I said, the Kellner channels right now are in between these Bollinger Bands, making it for a potential short opportunity. I think the markets have a little bit more room to move higher, but if this SPY goes up to 212.60 to 214.80, I'm going to start going long. And I'm going to take some SDS calls maybe through May, June, check the best pricing, and then I may take some puts for a strike of 210. Okay, ultimately, if the markets pull back, I want to buy for the long side 205.80 to 206.80. Okay, with a potential move up to that 209 level. Okay, so again, if it hits 212.60 to 214.80, I'm going to look to go long on the SDS, and I'll take some puts. Okay, for my target 210.40, and then my target 209.30. Okay, my stop close is going to be a close above 215 on 2 consecutive closes. Then I'm out, and then what I'm going to look is for any topping tails, and then I'll enter the market again. Okay. The next market, what I'm looking at is the UVXY. UVXY right now, you got a 1, 2, 3 bar drop. Okay, I'm looking at the 1760 level. Okay, 1760. Look for that 19. If you see 2 closes above 19, 2 green closes consecutively, 2 green closes consecutive. Okay, I reiterate, 2-day close consecutively. Then we'll look for that target of 21. Okay. My stop close is going to be a stop close below 1750 on 2 consecutive closes. Okay. Okay. Another one that I was looking at, a member had mentioned Costco for some puts. I don't think it's ready for some puts right now. What I'm thinking is that you got a little bit of a bullish flag pattern here. Okay. We do have these Kellner channels. Okay. Trading in between these Bollinger Bands. Okay, but at the same time, we still have a bullish inside flag pattern here. Okay, so any move back to this 144.17, okay, which is the 20-day moving average, I like that entry. Okay, so if Costco comes back to 144, okay, I like that as a buy zone for my target of 148 and then my target 2 of 149. Okay, so any pullback on the Costco to 144.20, I like it for long opportunity. Okay, I actually think that we may break that 150 level here on Costco. Okay, I don't know what the sprint options are looking at, but what I am looking at is this uptrend channel, and we're testing this 20-day moving average. We have a little bit of a bullish reversal here. Okay, we saw a low of 470, and then we closed at 484. Okay, so watch this this level here. We got a potential gap fill here at 575 to $6. Okay, so you got plenty of room. So any pullback down to $4.30, okay, I think it'll be a good opportunity for some calls. And I posted this also on the small caps. I do like sprint moving on. Okay, so keep an eye on the sprint. So that $4.30 to $4.50. I'll go a little longer term since this is a lower price stock. I'll go through June to August. Strikes $5 to $6, whatever you want. And I'm looking at this uptrend channel with a gap fill, potential 575 to $6. Okay, my stop close is going to be a close below $4.25. Okay, the next one, we're looking at GLD. Okay, like I said, we had a 2-day close here, confirmation. So any pullback up to 116 to 116.80, I'm grabbing some puts. My strike is going to be 113. Okay, April to June. Okay, on low support. Okay, if the markets close above 118 to 118.15, now we're looking at that 121 retest. Okay, so same move. Okay, make sure that you stay tight, and you make sure you look at those closes, 2 consecutive closes. Remember, we're always moving on 2 consecutive closes. That's what we're looking at. Okay, so those are the option severs for this week. If I see anything else, I will be posting it on um, the mobile app for you guys that haven't. You can find it on the Google Android store. Okay, moving on to small caps. Okay, we had some good trades with the SD. We also had LEI, which did very well. It didn't pull back to the 1216 level that we wanted to, but it did pull back to that 24 range, and then it hit a high of about 35. So it was a nice trade on the LEI if anybody took it. Remember, these moves are actually just reference points only. You know, I wanted the stock to pull back to that 12 to 16. We did see a nice considerable drop for about like 20%, but it ended up rallying afterwards. Okay, SD was a nice trade as well. I recapped those trades on the Facebook, so whenever you get a chance, just look it over on the either the email or the Facebook. Okay, this week what I'm looking at is VVUS. Okay, you got a little bit of a bull flag pattern here. Any move pull back down to that 250 to 2067 level. I like it for a long-term target of $3, potential target of $3.40. My stop close is going to be a close below $2.40. Okay. Ultimately, I think that this stock can hit that $3.40. So just keep and watch on VVUS. My stop close is going to be tight with a tight close below $2.40 on 2 consecutive closes. Okay, next stock is NOR, Noranda Aluminum Holdings. Okay, you got a little bit of an uptrend. You got 20 and a 50-day moving average here crossing. Okay, so we got two signals here. Any pullback down to that 320 kiss of that 20 and 50-day moving average, $3.40. I think we'll see a target of $3.60, potential target of $3.90 to $4.20. My stop close is going to be a close below $2.90 because if it pulls back to $2.90, I would grab some just for a dead cat bounce. Okay, another stock that we actually posted back when it was extremely cheap was the ROSG. Okay, ROSG, we had an opportunity to enter way back when we called it, was that $2 range. Okay, since then it hit a high of $5.50. Now it's pulling back. Still in an uptrend. Okay, still in an uptrend. I think that this could pull back. We have a little bit of a topping tail here at $3.68. I wouldn't add up here. I would wait for any pullback down to the $3.40 range. My target one would be a target of $3.80 and a target 2 or $4.10 with a potential retest of that $5 range. My stop close would be a close below $2.85 tight for 2 consecutive closes below. Okay, so those are the small caps that we have for this week. Okay, remember, these are reference points only. If you see 2 closes above that certain level and you want to enter the stock, you may. Okay, just remember that I usually like being extremely cheap, and I like getting as close as to these trend lines as possible for best potential entry. You could always scale into a trade as well. So if you want to buy a certain amount at a certain price, you can scale into it and then just make sure that you have your stops. Okay, moving on to the weekly watch list. Okay, last week we had a couple of good stocks. TPAC, we had VIZS. A couple of stocks did extremely well and are still in play. I will go over the buy and hold charts later, and a couple of other stocks that we've mentioned on the premium Twitter and also SMS. So I don't know if they were running a promo, but it's testing 52-week lows. Okay, the stock is trading at or near 52-week lows. Last week kissed at 0.0011, closing at 15, and now for the week it closed at 13. So watch the levels here. If it closes below that 12, two consecutive closes, then we're gonna look at that probability buy zone from 9 to 11. Okay. So make sure you monitor the level too. Okay. Last week I monitored it. There wasn't much on the ask. So we want to take into consideration that. On February 19th, EPAS had news. You had over 400,000 revenue stream on two acquisitions. So that's positive on the stock. So look for EPAS right now. For now, what I'm looking at is an entry between 0.0012 to 0.0015. My pivot is going to be a close above 19 on two consecutive closes. And my stop close is going to be a close below 12 two times. If it does, I'm going to look at that 0009 to 11 buy zone. All right. My next support is going to be 0009 to 10. And these are the levels. Okay. You had a little bit of buying here on Friday. You see this big long bar. So just keep an eye on that. PGCX, this is a stock that has been an ATM from that 0.0012 level. Okay, now it's testing that 0009 to 11 level. Okay, watch that entry between 0009 to 11 for a probability trade. My pivot is going to be a close above 15 on two consecutive closes. Stop close is going to be a close below 0009 on two times. If it does, then we'll likely see a 50% retrace, and then you'll check that 00045 level. Okay, the stock right now is at probability buy zones with a double bottom kiss of that 00089. Okay, could be a nice reversal here. We have seen time to time with these stocks. Okay, we mentioned TUNG, Tongue. Okay, we saw that hit 8 and then it rallied. RSII hit a low of 8, then it rallied to 20. Stamp hit a low of 8 and then it rallied. So again, PGCX, I think it's a similar trade. I think with just a 21 million float, it'll do well. Okay, I look at this stock as a buy, set, and forget stock. Okay. Next stock is MNZO. Okay, they're waiting on the FDA approval on lactose probiotic called Lacto Freedom. Okay, right now, if you look at it, another similar trade, long consolidation pattern trade. You got a buy zone probability trade from 9 to 12. Okay, my pivot is going to be a close above 12 on two consecutive closes, which is this 50-day moving average. If it does, then watch that 15 to 17. And 0.0017 is a 100-day moving average there. Okay, so the stock is at a probability buy zone with a pattern trade. This is a low share structure stock that has traded in a pattern the last several months and is back at the buy zone area. Watch the levels here. The company is awaiting FDA approval on a lactose probiotic that is February 3rd, 2015. Received the 6-month positive results from tests on lab rats. So watch any news on FDA approval. Okay, any news on this FDA approval will surge the market and the stock can go up 100, 200%. Okay, MNZO. Okay, the last known shares have been since December 31st, 2014. I don't know if you guys want to check the filings for any raised share structures, but MNZO just looks like a good buy area at this range. Okay. Next stock is a stock that actually triggered last week at 19, hit a high of 27. Now it's trading at 22. Was this BETS? Okay, there's a couple of other people that are hyping the stock as well, so that could bring some volume into the stock. If you look here, okay, major volume and accumulation in this range. Okay, you have RSI going into positive. Okay, watch any pullback down to the 1620. Regardless, okay, some of us took an entry at that 19 level, which I think is a good buy zone. Okay, it's trading above that 20-day moving average, higher lows and starting an uptrend. Watch any pullback to that 16, which would be an optimum entry. Okay. If it gets there with a tight stop below 16 on two consecutive closes, last week the stock triggered at 19 low and hit a high of 27. Therefore, that pivot high that must break is 19 on two consecutive closes. Okay, so it has to break that 27 level on two consecutive closes. If it does, then we can test that 45 level and see it move higher. Okay, so just watch the bets. The BETS 16 to 20 is optimum. Okay, if it breaks above that pivot 27, watch that 45 range. Okay, and then my stop close is going to be a close below 16 on two consecutive closes. If it does, then we're going to look at that 10-12 range for that re-entry. Okay, so those are the stocks that we posted for this week. VIZS, okay, it triggered at 12. It hit a high, I believe, of 20. Okay, that was another stock. It's still, I think the VIZC is still in a good buy zone. You have this bullish reversal candle here with big volume. It has the potential move up to that 34.70 range, which is about 100 to 200% from these levels. RSI is still oversold, so stock has plenty of room. Okay, so that has not ended. Um, Give me 1 second. Okay, the SMVR. Okay, this stock triggered a week ago at 14, hit a high of 5.2 for about 280%. Okay, now what we're looking for is any pullback down to this box range. Okay, you have higher lows here. Okay, what we're looking for is a pivot close above that 52 range. Then I wouldn't be surprised if this stock hits that 0.0125 level. Okay, we're looking at the level 2 is very, very thin last week. All it needed was a little bit of buy pressure. So I want traders to understand that sometimes you will need some consolidation periods. But right now, what we're looking at is a nice consolidation on this SMVR trade. Okay, low share structure. So what we're looking at here is a potential pullback to 0.002 to 27. My stop close will be a close below 2. Next support is 16. After that, you have a support at 12. Okay, my pivot is a pivot close above 0.0052 on 2 consecutive closes. I think that this has a potential to hit that 0.0125 level. Okay, so that's the SMVR. Okay, HBRM, okay, we're looking at this wedge. Now it's trading above this wedge pattern. Okay, it's trading at 0006, which is its 20-day moving average. Watch that pivot close above 0007. If it does, I would not be surprised if this stock retests that 12 mark. Okay, you're talking about 100% move on this lotto trade. Okay, any stock that trades below 0005, okay, do consider it a lotto. Okay, but HBRM, if it does pull back to 0004 to 6, I think it'll be a good buy zone opportunity. Remember, these stocks require risk. Okay, so ensure that you do not go head first in these stocks. If you can't handle these 000 stocks, you don't like the fluctuations, okay, I would refrain from trading them. But HBRM looks like a good consolidation bottom here on a wedge break. Okay. Next one is TPAC, TPAC. Okay, it did hit that low of 11, and then it tested that 21 level. Okay, so my pivot is a close above 21 on 2 consecutive closes. I don't think that this stock is done. I think this stock will find its bottom. Traders that bought this at 11 and sold it up at, into 20. Okay, I think it's going to be an ATM trade. So remember, whenever you have opportunity to lock profits, you always want to scale out of the trade. Make sure that if you scale out and you want to look to buy, re-enter or buy at a support zone, you can. Okay, so TPAC is still in the buy zone. SEGI, SEGI. Okay, we're looking at this channel. The stock continues to consolidate from 0004 to 5. Okay, many traders were able to buy at 0004. There's a huge bid, over 50 million shares at 0003, which makes me think that there is support there at 0003. If the stock closes below 4 2 times, you will take a loss. Okay, so that is the SEGI. Okay, we went over the VIZC. Okay, the VOIS triggered at 0009. Okay, hit a high of 15 for 60%. Now it's consolidating. We got this 20 and 50-day moving average about to meet. I think this VOIS has the potential to move 25 to 50 range. Okay, so the VOIS, any pullback down to this 10-12, I like it. Okay, my pivot break is a close above 17 on 2 consecutive closes, which is that upper Kellner channel. And then we're looking at that potential 25 to 50 range on the VOIS. Okay, WDRP, okay, that triggered at 28, that first initial time, hit a high of that 62 level, then pulled back, gave another opportunity entry at that 29 level, then rallied to 49, and it's still in this channel. Okay, any close below 25 on 2 consecutive closes, that means we stop out. Okay, and this is how we trade the levels. Okay, you're gonna see plenty of people hyping these stocks up, but if it's trading in a pattern, then we're looking at price, pattern, and time. and we're looking to buy as close as possible at that major support now. That 25, okay, to 34 range is that major support line, and those are the moving averages there. Okay, so a WDRP is still in motion. Okay, you have this FINW. You have a little bit of a bullish inside flag pattern. Okay, look for that 12 to 15 range for a purchase. If the stock breaks above that pivot high of 0.002, I think this stock has the potential to retest that 0.0056 range. Okay, so that's still in play. Okay, EWSI, a couple of panic, but you have an RSI here at 33.18. If you want to place your bids for a lotto here at 0002 to 4 and just buy, set, and forget, you can. Okay, just remember that you never want to go head first into a lotto. Okay, DSCR, okay, is a stock, marijuana stock. Okay, the stock is in a bit of uptrend channel. Okay, any pullback down to this 000910 level, I think it'll be a good buy zone. I think we could see a 40-50% move here on the DSCR. If it breaks above 14 on 2 consecutive closes, watch that 17 range. Okay, TUNG, same thing. Okay, it is in a channel. Okay, it's holding that level. Typically, when you want to see the stock hold is that 0.00111 level. If you hear any news, I'm hearing news, potential news on this stock. The stock can retest that 0.003 level again. If it does pull back and breaks below that 10 level, watch that 00078 level. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I wanted to go over something that we've updated, which is under tools. It's the buy, hold, stop table chart. Okay, I'm going to be updating this. Okay, but right now, these are pretty much most of the stocks that we have on our watch list in the previous past. Some stocks have profited higher. Some stocks are at buy zones. Okay, I posted the buy zones here, which are here. You got the stock symbols, you got your pivot price, you have your potentials, and you have your stop close. When this is green, that means we're at a hold. Okay, so traders don't have to worry or be nervous. If this stock, you look at it and this is green, that means you're at a hold. Okay, that means it's okay to hold the stock. If the stock says or says a number here and then it says stop, that means that the stock has stopped out. I may post new support levels or re-entry levels, but if it says red, okay, and you purchased it above that red, that means that you should, okay, likely stop around that range. Okay, so this is going to be an extra tool for you guys, so you guys understand, when and where you can hold. Okay, so I think this is going to help some traders, but you got to make sure that you kind of look at it, and if it hasn't been updated, you have to update it in your logbook. Okay, so we're doing a little bit extra for you guys. This is going to be on. Okay, this is going to be on the mobile app, and this is going to be free. Okay, so the beauty of this is that this is going to be free for you guys. Okay, so the new guys that are coming on, this stuff is going to be absolutely free. Okay, so some of you guys are already going to be in these stocks, but so now that some of the new guys that are not members, they're going to look at this and they're going to see, oh, okay, so RSP or what have you are buying these stocks at this range. I feel safe in buying these stocks at this range. What is that going to do for us? It's going to add support. It may add some buy pressure. It will have remarks here, notes, news, catalyst. If news comes out, I will be posting it on this 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 chart. So this is an add-on for you guys. Okay, this is to make things a little bit more easier, to make things a little bit more organized for you guys. But at the same time, I want you guys to have your own logbooks, your own levels, okay? Because sometimes these are just reference points only, okay? And part of being a good trader is being organized, okay? So this is something good, okay? Another thing that we're gonna get is also free alerts, okay? Free alerts are gonna be for traders that don't know anything about radio silent play. Okay, it's pretty much you're gonna download the application, you're gonna create a username and a password, okay, and then what you're gonna do is you're gonna add the mobile app through the Google Android store. If I see that a lot of people are adding the Google Android app, if they're posting good comments on it, this actually helps me be a better trader then we're gonna look at, we're gonna expand, and we're gonna get an iOS app. But if I don't see any downloads, if I see that there's really nobody actually commenting it, I'm not gonna waste money. Okay, so this is something that I have to see. Okay, some traders, okay, wanting to use this application. Okay, now the good thing is that we're offering some of this stuff free. Okay, so you new guys that are coming on, you're gonna get a notification just like when somebody comments on your Facebook and you on your phone. The same thing when something triggers. Let's say the SMVR triggers at 16, you're gonna get a notification on your phone. You free traders, okay, and then that's gonna send an alert, and you're gonna say, oh wow, okay, SMVR just hit 16, okay, and RSP just sent out the notification that it just triggered at 16. I'm going to look to place a bid at 15, 16, and I'm going to look to trade this stock higher. Okay, so this is going to be an add-on for free traders. Another add-on that's going to be is this chart here. It's going to be on the mobile app, and we're also going to implement for pay members. We're going to have small caps triggers, and we're going to also have small caps buy zones on there too. So that's for paying members too. So you guys are going to be able to trade everything. You're going to be able to trade the options. You're going to be able to trade the small caps. And then the free guys are going to get the OTCs, and they're going to get the notifications for any stocks that trigger. Now, I just want to reiterate, over here at RSP Premium, we don't get paid promos. We're not jumping the guns with other newsletters. We're pretty much trading levels here. Okay. There are some minds, okay, that are looking at different stocks to help RSP, which I'm very grateful for. But we are not hyping any stocks. We are not what do you call it? We're not what do they call it again? We're not preloading these stocks like people say. We're buying these stocks according to certain levels, price, pattern, and time. We're looking at 52-week lows. We're looking at bullish flag patterns. We're looking at uptrend channels. So that's how we trade the markets. Okay, we're not gonna hype, and we're not gonna say over here that we're Shaolin Shadow Masters. We're not saying that we're trading lions. We're not saying we're the Timothy Skypes of the world. Where we don't have any secret organizations here, no email blasts. What we're doing is we're trying to, make supplemental income out of this, and we're trying to, add, potentials on growing wealth here. Okay, if we're posting on long-term hedge ideas, it's because we're trading these markets according to what the geopolitical happenings in the world are happening. Okay, if we're trading these stock options, it's because we're looking at levels. We're looking at support levels, master resistance on shorts, and different aspects of the markets. Okay, so I just want to. Sometimes this can be boring for traders. Okay, and I apologize for being boring, but the reason for RSP is to educate traders and making the best probable trades, superior trades, which I call them, the Bentley trades. Try to get them to understand Bollinger Bands, pulse channels, flag patterns, and other things of that nature. And we're going to continue doing this until, people kind of gravitate towards us and understand what we're trying to achieve here. Okay, so I want to thank everybody that kind of joined today. If you have any questions or you want to go over any stocks right now, any potential movers, I know a couple of you guys sent me emails and stuff. I'm looking at them as well, and I will post my comments and send you back emails. But anything right now that you guys want to go over, we can. I will post this later on the group me chat, so you guys can review this for those that couldn't attend. And I also will post this on YouTube probably Wednesday or Thursday after the fact to see if we actually trigger these stocks and trade these stocks higher. So if there are any questions, okay, or if you have any mentions, please do so now. Okay, great. So there's no questions. I will see you guys tomorrow on chat room. Okay, for those that want to know any information about joining RSP, you can email me at radiosilentplay@gmail.com. I'm going to type that right here, radiosilentplay@gmail.com. Anybody that wants to try out our membership, it's a free trial, so you guys can try that out. Also, you can find us on RSP Premium at Twitter, and then Radio Silent Play at Facebook. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Okay, I want to thank everybody, all the newbies that showed up. We usually have a little bit more organization, and we'll be having what you call webinars, PowerPoint presentations soon. So that's something that we're working on right now, and the mobile app should be ready likely by this week or next week. So look forward to that too. All right, everybody have a good night, and look forward to some positive trades this week. Take care and have a good night.